Hello and welcome to Science Study Tutor. Learn science from very basics to advance, easily, clearly and interestingly. In this lesson, we will study about the cell theory from the topic Cell, the Unit of Life. Cell theory is a historic scientific theory which is now universally accepted. Credit for developing cell theory is usually given to two scientists, Matthias Jakob Sleden and Theodor Schwann. However, Rudolf Virchow contributed to the cell theory. In 1838, German botanist Matthias Jakob Sleden, after observing structure of various plants, suggested that plants are made of cells. That is, every structural part of a plant is made of cells or the product of cells. He stated that cells are the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all plants. In 1839, German zoologist Theodor Schwann, after observing structures of various animals, suggested that animals are made of cells. That is, every structural part of an animal is made of cells or the product of cells. He stated that cells are the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all animals. Sleden and Schwann discussed about their observations and compare their findings. In 1839, they together formulated the cell theory. Two of the three tenets or postulates of the cell theory are: 1. All living organisms are made of one or more cells, and 2. Cells are the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Sleden also incorrectly stated that new cells arises from the nucleus, that is from the cell's control center, and nucleus then disappears after the cell was fully formed. This theory is called free cell formation through crystallization, and it is not accepted in cell theory. This theory is refused and corrected by German biologist Rudolf Virchow in 1855. Rudolf Virchow stated in Latin language that omnicellular e-cellular, which means new cells, arises from pre-existing cells by cell division. According to Rudolf Virchow, a cell with a nucleus divides into two new cells, and the two new cells have one nucleus each. Hence, it was concluded that the nucleus must divide. It is also called as the cell lineage theory. Thus, the three tenets or postulates of the cell theory are: 1. All living organisms are made of one or more cells, and 2. Cells are the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all living organisms, and 3. New cells arises from pre-existing cells by cell division. Eventually, many new tenets or postulates added to the cell theory. Cell theory is now called as modern cell theory. Generally accepted tenets or postulates of modern cell theory are 1. All living organisms are made of one or more cells. 2. Cells are the basic or smallest structural and functional unit of all living organisms. 3. New cells arises from pre-existing cells by the cell division. 4. Metabolic reactions and chemical reactions occurs within the cell, thus energy flow takes place inside the cell. 5. Cell contain hereditary information, that is, DNA, which is passed from parent cell to daughter cells during the cell division. 6. In organisms of similar species, all cells have same chemical compositions. 7. Some organisms are unicellular, made of only one cell. And 8. Some organisms are multicellular, composed of many number of cells. 9. The activity of the whole organism depends on the total activity of all independent cells. Viruses are the biggest exception to the cell theory. Viruses are not made of cells, so there is a debate whether viruses are dead or alive. Viruses cannot reproduce on their own. Viruses invade a host cell and utilize the host's genetic material in order to reproduce. Another exception to the cell theory is the first cell, which did not arise from a pre-existing cell. Other exceptions to the cell theory are mitochondria and chloroplast. They have their own genetic material and can reproduce independently from the cell in which they reside. Thank you for watching this video. If you find this video helpful, then please like, share and subscribe.